Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about Jeff Lowe. Jeff Lowe is from the show Tiger King, much like Doc Antle. He is featured rather briefly and he's not super discussed, so I wanted to talk about the things I could find. To be entirely transparent, there isn't that much about him online either. I tried doing a background check, but considering I couldn't confirm certain things, I couldn't confirm who was who anyway. So while editing this, I became painfully aware that I have flyaways, even though I put hairspray on my wig, so I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry if it bothers you. Trust, it's bothering the shit out of me as I edit, but so is life. Misery. So the first thing that I think is evident about Jeff Lowe is his shady business ethics and the way he acts about money, and they kind of go hand in hand because he was acting like he was this big businessman, like he was a millionaire, always driving in with his fucking Ferrari. Okay, kind of sad as a thing to do, but his business ethics are very interesting because ethics are a very telling part of who people are. So in an article I found this. Prior to joining up with Joe Exotic, Lowe was already embroiled in legal battles. In 2007, he was even sued by Prince for allegedly selling clothes with his trademarked symbol on them. Lowe's version of the story, according to his own website, was that he worked with Prince. However, Dale Atkins from Prince's legal team told the City Pages the thing about him, Lowe, working with Prince. I'm not gonna call him a liar, but based on any information I have, he never worked for Prince, unless you call getting sued working for him. That's funny. This wasn't his only non-cat related legal battle. In 2008, Lowe pleaded guilty to federal mail fraud charges in the USA for posing as an employee of the Citizens Opposed to Domestic Abuse charity in order to obtain $1 million worth of merchandise that he later resold. So in a couple of articles that I read, there were allegations that were saying that Lowe did get charged for domestic abuse or at least got in trouble in some way. I couldn't confirm that. That's why I was trying to do the background check. Who knows if that's true? That's just something to keep in mind, and it is a strange coincidence that he was posing as an employee of Citizens Opposed to Domestic Abuse, and then that rumor would come out, but maybe someone just thought that out in order to make him look bad. The fact that he was already in legal battles where he obviously was in the wrong is telling. Overall, he gives a very slimy vibe, in my opinion, and on top of pretending to be rich, this big alpha. To me, it seems like he was trying to act like an alpha so much that it kind of became obvious how non-alpha and more beta he was. I don't know, there's always something weird to me about people who want to assert dominance to that extreme. So in terms of the zoo, it says that Lowe is also building a brand new zoo that will be located in Thackerville, Oklahoma, and is due to open in the summer. Keen to distance himself from Exotic, Lowe wrote in a Facebook post, "We think it's best to let this zoo die with Joe's conviction and not make the next generation of animals to live here forever and suffer his outrageous behavior and reputation. There's so much more to be revealed about Joe and his crimes against animals, and we don't want to be associated with him any longer." Now, another aspect of Lowe's that I particularly do not respect is the fact that if you've watched the documentary, and if you haven't, this is kind of a spoiler, but just watch it. Jeff Lowe comes in essentially in a savior type role where he's gonna essentially have the zoo in his own name and he's trying to be like a good person and help Joe out, whatever. The reality is no, he wasn't trying to help Joe, in my opinion, ever. It was self-serving. It was like a power move to be like, oh, I'm gonna help you because I have this power over you, and then shit hit the fan and Joe became an employee. Jeff was starting to make changes that Joe didn't want, and the thing is, it wouldn't even have been a problem if Jeff were forthcoming. Like if he actually just told Joe Exotic, hey, I'm gonna take the zoo, but I'm gonna make changes, it's not gonna be the same, I'm not gonna run things the same way. Nobody cares. That's fine because at least you're being transparent. But to me, this spoke on his business ethics because he essentially posed as, oh yeah, I'm just like helping you out. I'm not gonna make these major changes, it's just gonna be in my name, but you're still kind of in charge. But that's not what happened, and say what you want about Joe Exotic, but Jeff Lowe doing that does not look good. And as a business person overall, it just looks bad, because why should anyone ever trust you to make a deal with you or anything like that? On top of that, Jeff Lowe is actually being sued by Joe Exotic, who filed a $94 million lawsuit from prison, and Exotic is accusing Lowe for allegedly lying, planting evidence, and being a part of an entrapment scheme, which reportedly led to Exotic's arrest. Now, I don't necessarily know anything about planting evidence, but I do think that Lowe did lie, and I do think he was part of an entrapment scheme, which is why it's kind of surprising that he never testified in Joe's case, because Jeff Lowe is a rather central part of why Joe is in prison. So then, in terms of Lowe's character, now obviously a lot of these categories I've made do overlap, because your ethics speak to your character determines what kind of person you are, so on and so forth. But one thing I really do think needs to be noted about Lowe is, first of all, his associations. Now, I don't believe in guilt by association. That being said, if you choose to be friends with certain people, that inevitably speaks on your beliefs. Example, Alan Glover, who was Jeff's employee, was the person who was allegedly supposed to murder Carol Baskin on Joe Exotic's behalf. Glover was Lowe's man or friend or employee or whatever you want to call it. So for me, it's like the fact that you know someone who could kill someone for you and you're okay with that, you want to be associated with that, doesn't look good. Here I found an article that discusses that a little bit. This one-time and perhaps still employee of Lowe was in prison at age 17 for assault and sports a teardrop tattoo. During employment, he allegedly takes $3,000 from Joe Exotic to kill Baskin. But instead of going down to Florida to do Carol in, he claims he instead went to South Carolina, where he spent the money on cocaine and strippers. The details are difficult for Alan to remember due to the various substances he was on at the time. Alan crosses the line from a quirky type of crazy shown by many people on the show into a far more dangerous type of crazy, although he does conduct an interview while getting into a bathtub. An aspect that's really important to remember that occurred in the show is that allegedly, as far as we know, Jeff Lowe was the one who told Joe Exotic, oh, Carol Baskin likes going down this route on her bike, you know, we could easily shoot her. So as much as Joe Exotic is to blame for his part, Jeff Lowe was the one who really looked into it and then supplied, I suppose, the killer in order to execute it. So many do think that he should be in jail as well, or should be in some way reprimanded, because he did have a large part in all of this. He was the connection with the hitman. So while people might reform and change after going to prison, clearly Glover hasn't super changed, because he was still down, allegedly, to kill Carol Baskin. Even if it was entrapment, even if like the whole plan was to send Joe to prison, it's like, why do you have someone on hand to murder people? That's concerning to me. Finally, we discuss the animals. So in my opinion, Jeff Lowe did not give a fuck about any of the animals in terms of actually caring about them and their well-being. It was more about, I want to look powerful, A, and then B, he and his girlfriend used the tigers to get attention from women. They were swingers apparently, but it was not a love for the animal. It was a love to have the animal as a prop when it was convenient. An article actually addresses kind of how he discusses the animals versus what's actually true about the animals. So it says, he claimed that animals that grew out of the cub petting parties were retired to the GW Zoo. However, according to KTNV in 2017, the USDA documented an incident at the GW Zoo in Oklahoma when a female tiger got loose from an enclosure and was shot and killed to prevent her from escaping the facility. This is in stark contradiction to his claims that the cubs he retired to the GW Zoo led happy, healthy lives. Las Vegas City veterinary records revealed the cubs had a variety of medical issues, being underweight, severe diarrhea, urinary tract infections due to fecal contamination, giardia, don't know what that is, and pancreatic conditions requiring lifelong treatment. Again, the animals he had, I don't think really were animals to him as much as accessories. Also, as much as I don't really ever want to agree with PETA, because It says, according to PETA, however, there had been a warrant out for Jeff's arrest for several years for failing to obtain proper wildlife licensing and has been a target of PETA since he bought the animal park for apparently continuing to sell public interactions and photo opportunities with wild animals. Supposedly, though, he's doing better than Joe had. Jeff and his wife, Lauren, plan to move the zoo to another location, which we already know at this point. And then, to reiterate, the Netflix series goes into Lowe's private cub petting parties in Las Vegas, in which he wheeled cubs in suitcases through hotels, even creating a jungle party bus to ferry people back and forth with cubs. It frames his eventual arrest via footage of him in jail as a direct result of those activities. In fact, Lowe was arrested for previously failing to appear in court for the case, which he had initially pled out. He agreed to surrender the animals and pay $10,000 in restitution for their care. First of all, the sole concept of bringing cubs in suitcases to hotel rooms so random ass girls can take pictures with them and you hope that they're gonna have sex with you is not only morally bankrupt, but it's really pathetic. First of all, putting a cub in a suitcase is abusive, let alone even just like the morality of bringing an animal into a hotel where it doesn't belong and where it shouldn't be in the first place. It should be, if you really care about it, in its own natural environment. Aside from that, you're also putting that cub in danger because, first of all, the people picking it up and everything, I doubt are doing it with care, especially if they're drunk out of their goddamn minds, which they probably were. It's also unfair for the cub on the level that what if it crept out of the hotel room? You can't tell anyone, can you? Like, are you just gonna leave it? Like, what would you do if something happened? Or what would you do if it needed veterinary help? Would you really risk getting caught by the law, or would you just let it die? There are a lot of circumstances where I wonder, do you actually care if they come back from any of these parties? Anyways, all in all, I have really off vibes about him. And like I said, anyone who tries to seem so powerful just ends up looking really weak to me. And everything he's done, his character, his business choices, how he treats the animals, to me screams run in the opposite direction, essentially. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.